Thank you, CK. Well, oh, Colin, what are you doing awake at this hour, you crazy bastard? You're the same time zone as me, and I know it's 4:12 a.m. What are you doing? 16 months says insert something witty here. Glad to have you back on board, man. Con Johnner in chat says, how long has Ting been a thing? How do they provide a phone service? So Ting's been around for a while, and we've been working with them for... Funis and... Yeah, right. Funis in chat says, still have my Prime sub. What should I do with it? Well, you could consider subscribing to your favorite streamers or BaseTradeTV. Just, you know what you should do? Honestly, just use it. Make sure to use it. It's free money every single month. So whether it's us or anybody else, just make sure you use it. And of course, we would look it's super cute. What up, dog?
Just chilling.
Oh, hey, speak of the devil, Funis. Thank you for that Twitch Prime sub, brother. Glad to have you on board, and hopefully you'll enjoy your stay in the Base Trade Brigade. But we are in the losers match for the Ting Open. Spawning here at the bottom right, he is the red Zerg player, soO.
The bottom left is the blue Terran. He is Time.
And then the greatest cookie chef of all time, the best baker.
My mom is here?
No, but Rickapi is for 28
okay.
months. Help, my sleep schedule doesn't exist. This is I'm not the person to ask about sleeping. Yeah, what Zombie Group said. But to explain why this group is really unfortunate for soO is it is both the preliminary, now the losers match he has to fight against Terran, and some of you may wonder why he's doing wonkier builds. Part of it may have been legit strategy versus Joxy and just an alternate way to play it. It is the fact that he is playing against TY in the round of 8 for GSL. There's a pretty good chance he doesn't want to give away too much, especially considering how widely accessible BaseTradeTV VODs are. Maybe he doesn't want... It's like what? GSL's round of 8 is like 2 days? 3 days from now? He might not want TY to see how he's playing.
Oh, yeah. TY, the old trickster. Oh, it's not... It must have been at least somewhat of just knowing how Joxy plays. Time, I imagine, is still a little bit unknown to the Koreans. I mean, first of all, he's not Korean, so it's not like they're discussing strategy all the time. And while he is obviously playing on the Korean ladder now, and actually for the last month, about, it might just still be the case where, you know, maybe his barcode is effective for a couple of weeks, and no one had figured him out yet, or maybe they just don't play that often, so... Time actually tries to do something a little bit sneaky, but it's too late. The Overlord's already in a spot that Marines can't reach.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. Time not going for a Reaper, though, is also a whole nother can of worms, because no scouting. Complete. Not going to really know what soO's up to, and I gotta be honest, I love Time, but just watching him die to Classics cheese, I gotta imagine things like Ravager pushes, like just the 3 Ravagers even, not the all-in version, like those could be very devastating for somebody like Time to deal with.
Yeah, especially if it was scouting. Yeah, technically, looking at the other best of 3, you know, it's totally within possibility that soO is going for just, you know, super aggression early on. But a Reaper wouldn't have helped him if it was the same build, I guess, he used against Joxy anyway. But yeah, I'm more worried about like anything else beyond that, like Roach Ravager, or maybe like a mid-game Roach Ravager Baneling buff. soO is totally capable of those type of old-fashioned all-ins with a new twist of having a Ravager. At times going for Hellions. Also, I guess, a Viking. There's no tech lab in sight.
Yeah, that's actually a little bit interesting. It's actually going to be elevated Hellions by the looks of it.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, unless he starts the armory like right now, there you go. Then it's Hellbats. Alright, so a Hellbat push. Pretty classic way to use your factory. Luckily, there are so many builds nowadays besides just the Hellbat push and the 3cc that if you see a factory, it's no longer a huge, like, red flag. But it should still be enough to even think about getting a lot of lings, or maybe if you want to go down the Roach path, then get your Roach Warren a little bit earlier. Marine's going to help out a little bit. Of course, it's not full in the medevac, but any of the Marines can help out quite a bit with the DPS. Overlords have not scouted the armory.
But 6 Hellions is still pretty fishy.
Yeah, and the medevac, I think, did still fly by in sight of the Overlord. So the Roaches are on the way. The third base would just buy time. It shouldn't die.
Well, it is buy time. Well, time's buy it. But however you want to phrase it, sure. That's the case. Wordplay. The roach count is actually going to be questionable here. It's, for me, more about these queens and whether they can get that medevac pushed off really early, because Hellbats and Marines like this can tango with those roaches for certain, but Time instead is just going to choose to walk away from this, and I honestly don't think this is such a bad choice. It's not like he cut a lot of workers. The only thing he really did was give up like a really fast 3rd CC. And with the Banshee following suit, I think having the 5 Hellbats alive underneath it leads for a lot more potential damage.
Yeah, it's not terrible whenever the Terran doesn't do a lot of damage with this. It's
that's not a wall, is it?
Yeah, it is. It's up against the ramp.
No, I mean it's outside of the depot.
I would really hope he's taking that into account. Yeah, okay. So what is damaging though is that he's still going into Hellion Banshee. So if he was going to go into Stim, then it's like going to be like really, really late. I'm going to guess it's actually going to be Mech. We haven't seen Time's TVZ at all yet. We saw TVT and TVP. Right. So I don't know if he plays Mech. I guess he does. I guess a lot of Terrans are experimenting with Mech in the last week or two.
You know what? It is for me. Well, it's not going to be Mech this game.
Oh no, it's Bio. Wow. Okay, that is pretty late Stim.
I mean, I really I know people get annoyed with my Nathanius fanboyism, but I really do think he's figured out the way that this matchup's going to go, and it's just a matter of time before people follow suit to it. I mean, maybe nobody ever plays Mech, and that's like people like Innovation will stick to a style that they're comfortable with, but again, even Innovation's played Mech, so I don't know what to tell you.
I guess. I don't have much comments on that, but this is a surprising push for soO. He has all the defenses necessary. Roaches, even a couple of Lings for a little bit buffer, and Queen to transfuse.
Well, so this goes back to what was cool about Time pulling back earlier. This second attack never really happens for most Terrans because the Banshees are forced to just harass and they don't get to be frontline attackers. It doesn't work out for Time, but this is something that is so not conventional. I don't know how super confident soO was there. Like, I think he knew he had the tools to do it, but like, would he do it was the question as far as the defense goes.
Well, he made it look easy. He is at 65 drones already and should be heading to that 4th base. He's upgrading his roaches, but he's also going for a Balinus and a Spire, so that might just be, first level upgrades, then back into melee. We'll pay attention to that. Time really did delay his Stim a lot. If it still times out with a decent tank push, then I guess, that's okay. But it just is, if soO knew about this, and he should, just seeing, like, how many Banshees popped out. Yeah, and he did have an Overlord, I guess, scouting, like, when the barracks actually got a tech lab finally. And then you would know that, there wasn't any harm in any drops incoming. He's even attacking. There is not a wall anymore, as the command center was lifted, but there is a tank. Fortunately, the SCVs had already been transferred over, so we had them go down.
What is this copy past in chat?
That was a weird sound you made.
Sorry, it's fighting yawn off, but what is that
face?
Oh,
it kind of sounded like a scared sound. I don't know. It's a face.
That looks like the beginning of like a Bob's Burger character or something. Sorry, totally distracted. We do have Mutalisks on the way. Banelink speed's about halfway finished. Creep Spread's okay. I guess one thing was Time to kill a couple tumors before, but it's gonna have to really scan if he wants more of these Banshees. The medevac drop in this could work out well if he times them out so that they hit simultaneously and that soO's not looking one way or the other. But looks like Banshees will get away for a moment. Overseer's already out though.
Linked it there. One Banshee survives, and it's not bad to have a distraction. I do like the medevac's going towards that 4th base. This sometimes can just get an instant cancel or even a kill, especially if it wasn't taken as the 3rd because the creep spread's definitely not there. So that's what he's going to try and do. Combat shows only just starts. Of course, a sacrifice of also having the Stim being later, but that hatchery is going to go down. Now, he might lose his medevacs for it, and that's where it's still a question of was that worth it. At this rate, he is just going to straight up lose his medevacs. Yeah, not even getting any Marines down, so I don't know about that. Oh, Mutus, please. There you go. Yeah, I don't know about losing 2 medevacs worth. We'll see. He still has a decent army even if he loses these, and he might be able to save them. He's gonna try.
The split's
not bad,
cost him
splitting him up.
Reinforcements are here, but even then, that looks like that will get that. Okay. Not bad, not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not great either. I mean, the fact that his opener didn't do much damage, this stim drop only killed a 4th base that didn't even have any drones on it is also not too bad, especially since soO already does have a macro hatchery on the way. He's not falling behind too badly in larva either. It just doesn't look like a very good army supply for time. Not a good enough one anyways. And there's so much creep to get through too, before you can really abuse Newkirk's tank positioning.
This is one of those army supply, schmarmy supplies. Like, I feel like either player with the compositions here could take a really good fight depending on the terrain, right? Like, on one hand, like if time pushes on a creep, even with tanks, this could go badly. If he baits soO off of creep, focus fires a couple of banelings, get a couple of good shots. Like, I don't know. The army supplies are not so drastic yet.
It's usually, I mean, I guess it is a bit later than, like, the pace of the game is a little bit off because time to delay his stim so much, but yeah, usually with a push like this, if you're not a little ahead in supply, actually I'm a little worried for the Terran. His upgrades will be better, as again, soO to upgrade his +1 missile, and did go back into melee, by the way. But now these roaches don't seem too helpful. But certainly, he can just wait for him to get on a creep. There is no pressure right now. It's starting to get to a pressure point, and he is going to take the engagement, especially since not all the tanks were sieged up, rather.
You know, this split's not bad, and soO takes so long to wrap around on the backside. The front side gets cleaned up, and time can back up once again. This is actually a much better trade for time than it should have been. Being on creep, this should have been a devastating fight for the Terran. Like, no chance of recovery, no chance to survive. Interesting focus fire. He did choose to target the mutas, by the way.
Yeah, I think they like the second one attacking the Baneling has things instead.
The Banshee was just chilling, getting a couple of stragglers, got some Banelings with that too. 17 kills, not too bad for a unit that was pushed off early so uselessly. But I don't know if time's production, like, okay, not the question of production. Production is good, but if he's got the money, so he's transferring over this base to the right.
I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot, especially as an orbital. He's attacking and defending from this point, where if he took the north base, the usual 4th base with an orbital command, that's like the handful of lings, you know, and it's suddenly no good. I guess there are changelings on those bases, because I just looked at the mini-map and soO's army disappeared. And I was like, what's happened? That must have been changelings. Hive is on the way. You even have Carapace for his mutas. Time is still 20 supply down, and creep spread is already being replanted, because he didn't kill any of the creep queens. Basically, time is the one on a timer, which makes sense.
And
maybe that's why it's safe. Oh my god. But soO is in a good position. Mutas were specifically looking for a 4th base, figuring that it's got to be around that time.
That's what's cool though. Like, you pointed out, like, liking this base. I like it for other reasons, and one of them is just like it's not the one you scout ever, and it gets revealed now, I believe, with that Overlord. Oh no, it doesn't yet. Sees missile turret.
Exhausted.
Oh, and soO's using Abathur. Kind of cool. But anyways, he doesn't know about this base yet, which is just so odd. And if he thinks time is struggling on 3 bases, complacency may end up getting some of his units cut. I don't know. As he moves on a Hive, like, you know, with the Ultros Cavern on the way, and it's not like soO's slacking right now, but it's surprising that he doesn't know about that 4th.
Yeah. It's a little funny, for sure. You might think he's in a better position than he is, but he's really not making any choices right now that means this scouting is affecting him too badly. He sees a missile turret, which is a little suspicious, I guess. But, yeah, if he was, you know, intentionally cutting his supply at 170, for instance, because he's like, oh, there's, like, you know, no way he's going to attack enemy or something like that, then that'd be different. But, of course, he thinks that time is attacking into him. Well, so his supply is maxed out, and he's able to afford upgrades.
There's not that many Widowmines, are there? No, I take that back. There's 10. I guess they're just all spread out all over the place. A lot of Marines running to the backside of this, waiting for those Banelings to roll through. Widowmines aren't even burrowed on the front lines, but he does take such a good trade. It's only mutas left, but it is still like 17 mutas.
Yeah, it's a lot of creep spread, and he did have backup Banelings.
Yeah, and the Ultralisks are on the way. Upgrades, of course, on the way too. Time has been having this really nice 3-3 he's been sitting on, but it's not been something he's been able to really take advantage of. And as soO moves towards his own +3, not to mention that chitinous plating upgrade, he's going to be leveling that playing field and then some. With the way this game plays out, so much revolved around layer tech, it almost feels like it's quote-unquote fair for Zerg to be on 2-2 versus Terran's 3-3. We don't actually see 3-3 come out that often, so it's almost like having an advantage, even though it's supposed to be even.
This was pretty quick. I still had such a huge bank that being able to afford to get maxed out, defend this basically no problem, and get all those upgrades is when the Terran's like, this is BS. But of course, Time just didn't have the greatest of early games or mid games.
I like trying to use the Liberators for the mutas, but it's just a little bit too much. Ultralists come in as well. GG. soO takes the first game in this best of 3. Apollo. That's a bit lewd.
He's washing his thigh.
You know, in the early 1900s, cats couldn't even show their thighs. Yeah, that's right. Feel your shame. Shame!
Bring the pencil back. Give it back.
Oh, I'm so jealous of your cat, dude. ZK Walsh says, haven't slept yet, playing HOTS now. I'm gonna pretend and assume you mean Heart of the Swarm. Okay. It says, don't want to quit on a loss, don't want to quit on a win streak, hashtag never sleeping again. Brother, I have been there. I know that feeling. It's a horribly addicting feeling.
Yeah. What was I playing recently that was so obnoxious about that? Probably StarCraft.
Probably. That's a safe bet.
Probably.
I don't know that you play necessarily a lot of other games.
I downloaded Final Fantasy, which took forever, by the way. I keep forgetting not to download shit. I actually just go out and buy the CD because fuck the downloads.
What the fuck is a CD? Oh, I'm sorry. I said the F word as I opened a tweet where a gentleman is having his child watch us cast StarCraft, so I guess you'll be muting us now, but before you do, thanks for watching, Jonathan.
So teach your son what a... or daughter?
His kid's,
son.
His kid's really cute. Starting him young.
Yeah, teach him what a CD is.
Yo, this kid's actually got some cool toys. I had like nothing as toys when I was a kid.
Yeah, those are pretty cool toys. Now I go to like Walmart sometimes when like my mom has to shop for the cousins' babies, you know, because I got so many cousins in that age range.
Because your aunts are just promiscuous, or what?
No, it's because I have 2 aunts and an uncle, and then they had 2 children each. So
wait, I know this math problem. And then they're going to St. Ives, right?
Yeah, sure, exactly. But the point is, baby stuff is like super cute, actually, especially if it's Disney themed. And then some of the toys actually look kind of fun. Like, I had Barbies and action figures, and then I just only had action figures because Barbies are for girls. Ew, cuties. And those were like fun and all, but I don't remember being especially attached to any of those cool like toddler, you know, things like that baby has, like the super bright, cool figures. You know, I'm making myself sound like too much of a toddler. Let's just get to the cast.
Yeah, spawning in the bottom right side, he is going to be the Red Terran player, down 1 game here in the losers bracket. It's time.
Legit though, if someone had got me that little like sphere thing that has a bunch of stuff on it, I'd be so excited. I'd be like, oh, what does this do? In the top left, as the blue Zerg, he is soO.
All right.
It'd be like that. Did you see that like Kickstarter or whatever thing for the fidget box?
Those already exist. Why would you need a Kickstarter?
Wasn't it a Kickstarter like plan? Like they've been out for like 2 years, but wasn't it Kickstarter?
Oh, I don't know. I've just seen advertisements for them all over the place.
I've seen a lot of people recently like get theirs, I guess. So yeah, I was kind of tempted to get one too. I was like, this sounds kind of cool. But yeah, it's like a fidget box. Yeah. Okay, I'm done being excited.
Well, I'm really mad at you now because I had queued up the Seinfeld music and I was ready to tell baby puns, but now the time has passed for that. So thanks, Zombie Grub.
Oh, I'm so glad. Seinfeld's terrible. Your puns are probably fantastic, but Seinfeld...
I gotta drop one of the jokes, okay, because I've known this one for years. What happened to the baby who was staying in the hotel?
What?
He ordered womb service.
But babies aren't in the womb anymore.
Actually, you presumed that the baby was born. It was in his mom's tummy in the hotel, obviously. Hello?
Is there a different word for like when a baby's in the womb as opposed to out of the womb? Kind of like magma and lava?
You know what the worst part about getting a seat as a baby is?
What?
Usually you're stuck in the C section.
What's the C section? Like, where is he sitting that there's a C section?
Moving along.
I'm gonna dissect your jokes.
Well, it's
Like,
that,
if you're in a seat,
you might not be aware of how amazing of a pun you just made, and that bothers me a lot.
Oh,
you're gonna dissect my joke about the C section. Come on, Zombie Grub. Can these guys just talk about StarCraft? I mean, Jesus.
No. No.
Well, actually, there is something worth talking about, I guess, and it is that soO isn't playing the same way he did versus Joxy at all, and this makes me more and more convinced that what he was doing was tailored toward Joxy and not necessarily towards just Terran or whatever.
I put the slipper in the middle of the floor so Apollo would play with it. It worked.
He blends in with the white. But anyways, you guys can't see it, so it doesn't matter. Ling's getting to the main, or Ling barely gets into the main. How much did he actually see there?
Enough.
Yeah, enough, yeah.
Us Terrans kind of consolidate our buildings, don't we? No hidden gateways in the back for us. Grat. But it's more important to scout the follow-up, which he doesn't know if the starboard's going to transfer or not. Like last game, time up for 2 Banshees. That doesn't guarantee he's going to do it again here. This Ling could get into the main again. Instead, it chose to go for a couple of CDs. It's questionable. soO went for a pool first into 3 hatch with no, with like late gas, which is a little bit weird. So his speedlings aren't done, which I guess maybe I'm judging time extra hard for letting the non-speedling in, but whatever. 3rd CC is on the way. So kind of like the last game's build. No armory, no push. Yet. Tech lab on the barracks though, so I guess maybe bio. Medevac! Pick up those Hellions. Do your job. Do your thing.
She's already taken some pepper though, so I don't know how much this will get done.
You did nothing.
Getting focus fired down by the Queens, get a little bit rough, but the Hellions do manage to squeeze in. soO's pulling the drones, trying to avoid these kills, but only 2 drones have died so far, so pretty nice control. But as they run to the natural, there's another Queen waiting. Just target fire that low Hellion. Nope.
Get it. This is where speedlings would really help, and finally it kicks in, so I mean, still, 6 drones isn't really... Okay, 7 drones, my bad. It's really not that great, and then I think the Widowmine's got 1 more drone. Total of 8 drones killed.
He did get the medevac out alive, which is good, I guess. This could have been so much worse if it had died, but I don't know. Like that was a real reach for minimal damage.
It was. And what is this wall? Ugh.
Look, it's a wall and it's complete, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Okay?
Once he lifts the command center, though.
Actually, to explain what this wall is, this is for every person out there who thinks, you know what, a really big blocky building like a command center would make an excellent addition to my wall. Oh, that's right, it doesn't ever fucking wall off, so I've got to put like 4 extra depots down.
God.
Feels bad. The Banshees are getting quite a bit of damage done, but unfortunately with transfuses they can't chew through these Queens, and with Spore Crawlers he can't really advance further, so maybe he'll pick off the Evo Chamber. Not bad, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for drone kills here over the 3rd that he's missing out on.
Well, he's going to get that upgrade. Not too bad. The second evolution chamber starts as soO realizes. Eventually still going to be a little bit behind on the Carapace and the armor. Time starts as 1-1, has Stim on the way. This time I think a little bit faster than the last game because he didn't go for the armory.
See, this is such a bad wall.
It's still a stupid wall, man.
It's like a little cup.
And then that's the armory. I feel like that's worth killing for soO.
This is like a little cup that's gonna catch all the banelings, you know?
Okie dokie then. That's what happens. You know, banelings just roll into a cup and sit there and don't do anything.
Yep. And you throw them out the window. That's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like every spider you've ever met just walks into a cup and is like, send me outside, please. It doesn't try and get into your hair and shit. I
saw this great comic where it's like, robbers robbing a bank and they see the shadow and it's like, oh no, it's Spider-Man, looks like we're going to jail, and he's like,
oh yeah,
wrong, Spider-Man, and he shoots out like spiders instead of webs, and it's like, crime has dropped by 98%.
Yeah, that would do it. Second factory is pretty quick here for time, so maybe trying a different style. I don't think he had second factory last game. He didn't use it anyway. The Banshee helps out the tiniest little bits, and soO takes a base, doesn't have any creep spread on it yet, so he doesn't cancel it. It gets killed. Not a bad snipe at all.
I
time.
don't know how that Widowmine didn't go off. I was really expecting that to get like an amazing hit right at the very end there, but
We have a drunk person. No, wait. A drunken llama. Switch sub.
actually it's
Thank you
a
very
drunk
much.
3N llama.
Actually, if you weren't so old, you'd know that 3 stands for
You
E.
weren't so old. Jeez.
That's right.
Yo,
That's right.
I would actually imagine Leet Speak is actually kind of so old. I would guess
is
newer
kind
kids.
of, isn't it?
Like,
Yeah.
when's the last time you saw someone actually write 1337 and it was cool, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
you got a
almost,
point
it's
there.
almost ironic at this point. Regardless, thank you for the sub. We do appreciate it. Widowmine's going to try and go down. Another kill, not a cancel, and soO's getting a bit of trouble here.
He's probably quite annoyed at the lack of the 4th base, and a lot of that still has to do with the fact that the creep trade wasn't put over there. There's a lot more emphasis on the middle of the map, but a counterattack might just buy the time he needs. Wall kind of helps out here, but the reinforcements aren't simming in, so he's going to lose a lot of SCVs.
I mean, time doesn't really have a choice here. He's kind of just got to take the losses. Maybe burrows the Widowmines. It's going to be messy one way or the other. Other side of the map looks like the Banelings got picked off by the Widowmines. New round finishes morphing in, though, so it's still enough Banelings to push this back.
Yeah, it's just Marines. Even with perfect splits, the Lings accompanying and the Mutas accompanying, which is really enough. Gonna try and target fire a couple of these medevacs. Gets one of them. The third base was absolutely ravaged, though. Like, the SCVs died, the barracks died, the supply depots died. Some of those have, like, extra supply on them, too. And a lot of Marines also died. This was a very effective run by... It didn't bring back the army, which was, I think, the main intention, but it did even up the economy.
Killing the barracks really hurt, but I feel like getting the tech lab and then almost the other one was really the pain in the ass for this. Times production... it's alright. It's not amazing.
Right.
It is interesting to see the choice of Thors, though. I guess he really is frustrated with dealing with the mutas, and I don't think the Thors are a bad choice, but these, of course, are not going to be super effective against the ground.
Yeah, he did get drilling claws. The mutas can really start to take control now, though, and while soO... Yeah, okay, I was going to say, he probably should just...
What the... Cash me outside, how about that?
He probably should just take the base off to the left, which is what he does, because there's a little more creeps we're already covering. Plus, he probably figures Time's going to push down the same exact path that he did instead of to the left. Time scans, though, and might change his positioning. 2-2 is behind that of soO, at least has the +2 melee, and once again upgrading his Needless Carapace.
You know what we should do? I mean, once a cast, just start replacing words that sound like soO with soO and see if anyone catches it.
And then Soup goes for 2-2.
Soup? What? No, I meant like he's got soon. What?
He's got what?
Like instead of saying 2-2, soO or something. Where did soup come from?
That sounds like soO. You can't really blame me for going for soup.
Soup?
soO? Like
Okay.
that's...
But here's the thing. Now that you see my point of view, do you realize how ridiculous it is to hear you say soup?
No, you said things that sound like soO.
Replace things that sound like soO with soO, and you say, okay, soup.
Oh. I didn't really get the whole replace things that sound like soO with soO.
I mean, I know that you're not great at rhyming, but this is ridiculous.
I still think your thing was kind of stupid too, so it's fair.
Fair enough. All right.
2-2, soO. No.
Not a lot of high-level intelligence in BaseTradeTV. We established that earlier with our history lesson. But, okay, 7 Widowmines, 2 Thors. There's a lot here that can really endanger the mutas. But the mutas aren't really the core part of soO's army yet. I like that he has invested in them, like he's actually gone for upgrades, and it's not just kind of like a money dump. But this is one of those things where I think the real threat comes through all these Lings and Manlings still. And this army out of time... The problem is so much of the supply is eaten up by these Thors, he's not going to have that many Marauders on the ground.
It's a scary army. Like, it has the potential to win this game. If the Widowmines get decent hits, if the Thor takes out the mutas, like something along those lines. But it's got creeps to go through, and soO is trying to get better positioning. Trying to get a big ult surround once time moves forward a little bit. Plus, if things take forever, then the mutas could maybe counter, or the Lings could, or soO could just move in here. Seems bold. Very bold.
The Thors do try to get the shots on the mutas, and they almost do it. One more volley from the Thors would have finished this off, but that third Thor nowhere close to the front lines. But so many of the Lings and Banelings ran out, and this goes back to what I was talking about, where like the mutas aren't really the big threat. They can't finish the game the same way Lings can.
He still pushes all that back, and that was a lot of Widow Mines to clean up. That was a lot of Bio to remake. The Bio remake is like not such a big deal, but the factory units is gonna take a while. His queen didn't die either, I don't think, so he can just continue spreading creep again, which is annoying for Time. He just cleaned up a bunch. And Time, of course, is trying not to take a fourth base. He's going to have to reposition the way that he attacks to protect his fourth, because it's an orbital, which soO is going to see transferring over, and he just, you know, is going to have to constantly have units over there. He's lucky the creep started was a little bit farther.
Well, this is unfortunately not going to get to land. Feels a bit bad, man.
Plus 3 attack is just pretty good to have for Time, but I think that last attack was kind of his last good attack. Anything right, you know, coming from here on is probably going to be kind of weak. soO could maybe over attack and consider his position a little too good. These Widow Mines are not saving his army. There's a full surround, so.
Too good?
That's it. GG.
GG. Alright, soO will survive to go on to fight in the finals of the group. But as we see a quick, detour to the bracket screen before you get out of game and look at Zombie Grub's cat, it's going to be Joxy and Classic coming up next.
That is a cat on a slipper.
That is he resting his head, like, in the little part where you would put your foot? Apollo, you stupid, cute dork. It's almost like you think about, like, one of those massage beds where they got a hole where you put your face into, right? But, like, for a cat.
Oh, my God. So cute.
Your cat is pretty freaking adorable. I hate this. I have to fight this instinct where I want to be like, Apollo! Apollo! Like, he can't hear me. I'm like thousands of miles away. Anyways, thank you guys for watching so far. We are going to once again go to a commercial break. This group's gone by a lot faster than I would have hoped, but hey, you know what? It's still some pretty good games. We'll get to find out who's coming up, or who's going to be getting out of the group in first place as we get towards Joxy versus Classic, a TVP. So that being said, a bit of a break. We're gonna we'll take the longer break here to play that Jesse commercial. Some of you guys have seen this and love it. Some of you guys hate it. This is from season 1 of TING. Jesse actually plays StarCraft on the regular. He's not amazing at it, but he does love to play, and I think that's what matters the most. So we'll take about we're gonna say about a 10-minute break. So if you don't want to watch any of this, go do what you got to do. But we'll be back in 10 minutes. We'll be doing Joxy versus Classic then. Cat is so cute. You know, you need to do like what you need to do while we're on break is like full screen your webcam, take a screenshot, and like make a wallpaper to give to people of your cat at some point. Like, anyways, we'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks for watching.